Dr. Tonny, judges, guests, innovators. My name is Wambui Nyabero, Chief Technology Officer at Villgro Africa. And I want to acknowledge also the folks who are joining us on Zoom as well as YouTube. Welcome everybody. We are so excited today to welcome you all to this innovation showcase. We have innovators, Kenyan homegrown innovators, who are doing an amazing job in assistive technology. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting. And we hope this is the first of many, many such showcases. Villgro Africa is an impact investor and incubator. We support healthcare solutions, whether those are hardware, software, artificial intelligence, it doesn't matter what it is. And now we can proudly say that we are supporting assistive technologies. So we are very, very happy to be partnering with Innovate now, as well as Kenya, to bring to you this innovation showcase. I'm going to ask Agnes from Kenya, if we can find her, to come and say a word or two. And then we'll have Bernard from Innovate now also say a word or two, and then we'll move to our keynote speech from Dr. Tonny Omwansa from Kenya. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Agnes Tsuma from Kenya National Innovation Agency. For the past 1.5 months, we've been working closely with Villgro and Innovate now towards the Assistive Tech Innovation Showcase project. And it has been quite involving, intense, but exciting, I must say. I really enjoyed getting to go through these interesting innovations that are actually coming up in Kenya. And I can share my experience from our previous call for our National Innovation Awards. We didn't have that much, but I feel that the country is now appreciating and embracing this aspect. And we are seeing much more innovations coming up around the assistive technology area. I really appreciate this moment. I did not expect to come up front to speak, so I really didn't know what exactly I was supposed to address. I believe Dr. Tonny will be talking about Kenya, so I really don't have to talk about Kenya today. But I'm really looking forward to see what the innovators are going to be presenting as they pitch. And yeah, let's learn from what they're going to be talking. Thank you.
Good afternoon. And for those joining us online from all over the world, welcome to the Assistive Tech Innovation Showcase. This event is really built on a collaboration. I want to tell you a little bit more about assistive technology and the work that we are doing and why this event is important. About 3 years ago, we launched, and when I say we, I mean the Global Disability Innovation Hub, launched Innovate now in Kenya with this idea that innovators and entrepreneurs can join the effort to bridge inclusion of persons with disabilities by building solutions. And assistive technology, as you might know, is very crucial and important, not only for persons with disabilities, but as the world's population continues to age, and as non-communicable diseases also increase, more and more, all of us will need to depend on assistive technology. And so a few years ago, this was a term that was not very popular. When you mention assistive technology, somebody would look at you twice. But I think in partnership and working together, just like we are here today, we have managed to make this a priority and to open up the space for innovation. Now, there are more than 1 billion people across the world today that need assistive products. And so my message to entrepreneurs, to investors, is that the time to change the lens at which we have been looking at disability is today. And I want to pass very many thanks to our partners. Represented here, we have Supana Biswa, who hosts us. We are still growing as a program. I would want to also thank NORAD and UKAID for giving us the boost to launch this important work. And most importantly, for Kenya Innovation Agency for prioritizing assistive technology. And so without much further ado, welcome, enjoy yourself. You will see innovations that are changing lives and help us choose the best to take forward through the support that we are going to be giving them. Thank you so much.
So at this juncture, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce to you our CEO, Dr. Tonny Omwansa, who is the substantive CEO since September 2020. Let me not preempt. He's going to tell us more. Welcome.
Thanks very much, colleagues and Agnes, and good afternoon, everyone. I see many great faces. Some of them I know. Some of them we've worked. Some of them know me, and I couldn't seem to have recognized them very well. And it's all awesome. You know, I normally prepare very good points, yeah? But this time around, I didn't have time. So, so today, I scribbled my thoughts on the back side of the program. So this is not to say that I wasn't taking the program seriously. I will still use it. But anyway, all the same, first of all, maybe it's good to understand about the Kenya National Innovation Agency because there is an evolution and a trend in the country, which I think is very good for the innovation space and for the startup and commercialization domains, that the government is putting stronger and stronger systems that then will support the efforts that we are all putting in. So Kenya National Innovation Agency was set up under the STI Act, Science, Technology and Innovation. Its operationalization took a bit of time, but at least in 2020 September, a CEO was hired, and that everything else followed. And that's how some of my team members are here. It's semi-autonomous, which means that it's supervised by a board, it's governed by a board, and enables the agency to operate with as much professionalism as practically possible. And that's a great plus, I think, for the innovation system. The second thing is the mission is of interest to most of us. We exist with this mission to develop and manage a dynamic national innovation system that facilitates taking ideas to market. And I always talk about this ideas to market, ideas to market, ideas to market. That's how we're going to be measured. And so our presence here today is because there is work around ideas to market that we would like to support. Now, Agnes is in charge of commercialization issues in Kenya. And I think you have simply earned your position by making sure we are here. You know, me, I probably would have been struggling with many other things. But I wouldn't want to see any pitching forum happening in Kenya and Kenya is not there. We need to be present and give that endorsement and support and add linkages and partnerships in that regard. So we've prioritized 2 areas in Kenya. One is strengthening the commercialization infrastructure in the country. And there we're looking through universities, research centers, TVETs, even high schools. We're beginning to think how we strengthen that framework so that the research outputs find their way to market. The second thing is on startups. And I think strengthening the national infrastructure for startups is of great importance. And that means incubation hubs, that means accelerators, that means investors, and so forth. And that strongly points to why we're here. So that's about Kenya. The second thought I have is around Villgro. I am not here to score anyone, nor don't take this as a marking scheme or anything, but I think I'm very impressed with Villgro work. And, you know, as I got into office, I've always debated, give me examples of incubation hubs. We have a lot of innovation spaces, and that's fine, hubs and so forth, but give me good examples of incubation hubs, where for sure as a young innovator, I may walk in and can be handheld with skills, commitment, methodologies, access to funding, access to partners, access to market, with people who understand what we're doing. So this is a commitment from Kenya to Villgro. You represent the kind of institution we want to see more and more in the country. We don't work directly with innovators. Occasionally we give awards and we give something, but we want to work more with incubation hubs because you have access to this. When you succeed, we succeed. I think that's the way we will measure. And here's the challenge. You are succeeding in many dimensions, and you need to reproduce yourself. So that my measure of success will be how many Villgros can I see in the country. And so whatever we can do together to take these kind of models and reproduce them in our institutions, in other locations, I think is a measure of success for someone like Agnes and Dr. Katama in our environment of Kenya. I'll talk a little bit about the Kenya Innovation Week. So towards the end of the year, we have consistently committed that we'll run a national event on innovation. And we call it Kenya Innovation Week. We held an amazing one last year. Villgro was a great partner, and I see us working again together towards that. And I see as much as possible the current team of innovations and innovators appearing in the Kenya Innovation Week. It's gradually becoming the flagship innovation forum of the country that culminates all the innovation efforts of the year. Between the 6th and the 8th of December, I hope to see those I see here today, and they will have become better. Our job will be, how do we attract more funders, more investors to kind of tap and connect with this kind of innovations. And something else that has also stood out is, I appreciate your efforts towards assistive technologies because you are demonstrating inclusiveness. Already to me, this is a very good example of inclusiveness that sometimes we don't take consciously about, that we will accommodate more and more people through that. And so I see that as part of Kenya Innovation Week this year, there will be a lot of attention towards inclusiveness and assistive technologies being one of them. To the innovators, I think I prefer to use startups as opposed to innovators because defining an innovator sometimes is a little bit neither here nor there. But from a startup perspective, what inspires me more and more, and from a Kenya perspective, is when we genuinely spend time to understand the problems that we're trying to solve, deeply immersing ourselves to the problems. And then as we create solutions out of these problems, they are well thought out, all around, and potentially sustainable. So we came up with this phrase where we say, fall in love with the problem, not the solution. Delay the gratification of ideas as much as you can so that you deeply feel that you understood the problem. And if that works well, and you're able to package it well, and communicate it well, and get the support that you need, I think funding will not be a problem. I see funding as an automatic outcome of having laid that appropriate foundation. And this is the excitement that I'm also seeing in Kenya is funding is starting to become a common talk, right? People are attracting funding, startups are growing. Great, awesome. But at the same time, don't lose sight of building the enterprise with the right foundations, because it's possible to attract funding, but probably not necessarily succeed with the enterprise. So as you lay the foundation, funding becomes an automatic thing, and we do our bit to facilitate that, and you grow and scale. To the judges, do us justice. To the investors, let's synergize more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tonny, for those inspiring words, and especially the very kind words about Villgro Africa. We really are in this to grow the ecosystem, to get innovation and startups multiplied. And if, you know, like you said, when one succeeds, all succeed. So we want to go together. We don't want to walk alone. And now we are going to go to the part of the program that everyone has been waiting for. We are going to start the pitching. And to the startups, we are going to hold you to the 10-minute so that the judges will have a chance to ask you questions. We are actually going to start with Tai, and we want to give a shout out to Ken, who was supposed to be with us but is unwell. And so we are going to do something a little bit different. I believe Solomon will come up and be able to showcase their hardware, but Isabella is going to be presenting virtually. Tai, please go ahead.
Chief guest, judges, and the audience. Good afternoon. I am Suleiman, and I'm the workshop manager from Tai. So mine is just to introduce myself, show you the device we have, then Isabella will do the rest. Thank you. So this is our assistive devices we are doing in Kilifi, but for more questions and other clarification you may ask Isabella. For me, I'll just do a very brief demonstration on how to use it. So it's an all-terrain wheelchair. It has a suspension. Yeah, it's easily moved. Yeah, it can use both off-road and for those with, the upper body part strength, it's very suitable for them. Then we are also doing a prototype of another child version of the same safari seat. This is what we call safari seat. This is our brand. So, judges, maybe you might start wondering what is safari seat. So for like that question, you'll go and ask the one who will be representing Tai via Zoom. Thank you.
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
We can hear you. Go right ahead.
Thank you.
Presentation up?
Nice to meet you. Again, Ken Kahindi was supposed to be in the meeting, but he was suddenly sick, so I am presenting on his behalf. Let me share my screen and I can start with the presentation. Can you see the screen? So I assume you can see the screen. I will start then.
Kindly
So
proceed.
as I told, my name is, pardon?
Kindly proceed, we can see the screen.
Okay, thank you. So as I told, my name is Isabel Oriani, and I am the CEO of Tai, which is a social company registered in Kenya with operation based in Kilifi and the mission of breaking the cycle between disability, poverty, and social exclusion in Africa. Let me explain you what I mean by this. Please meet Letu. Letu has a mobility impairment, and without a suitable wheelchair, he has no autonomous mobility and has to rely on his family members for the simplest tasks. Like Letu, most of people with disability in Africa live trapped in poverty and social exclusion. The school attendance of children with disability is half of national averages, and up to 80% of people with disability are unskilled, unemployed, with no access to loans, living a secluded and marginalized life. Now meet Letu. He's fetching water with his son while driving a safari seat. Safari seat is the revolutionary wheelchair changing the life of people with mobility impairment in Africa. It has been developed during 2 years in close collaboration with the users, and it is low cost and all-terrain and can be used indoor as well as outdoors. Suspension system allows the four wheels to lift independently, avoiding tipping in the most uneven ground. And puncture-proof tires allow users to go on roughest terrain, but not having any kind of accident. Moreover, Safari Seat is allowing users to use geared and hand pedals that are allowing them to go uphill with ease. It is developed and manufactured in our workshop in Kilifi, and when delivered to customers, it is delivered with a training kit, a maintenance kit for minimal repairing, and if needing repairing, this can be done in any bike shop in Africa, because Safari Seat mechanics is made of bicycle parts. Safari Seat users are people with disability who need suitable, affordable, quality assistive technology to move autonomously. And they need self-development and job opportunities. We are talking about 20 million people in Africa and 3 million in East Africa, which is our target market. So for answering their needs, we have developed a unique product which is low cost and high performing, so that they don't have to choose between quality and affordability. Just to give you an example, the Grid Freedom Chair, which in terms of performance is the closest to Safari Seat, costs 10 times more a Safari Seat. By using Safari Seat, people with disability get autonomous mobility, which open the doors to access to education and skill development, to job and income generation, leading to independence and inclusion. Like the case of Rosaria, who is the mother of 4 children and runs a shop in her village, or Stephen, who uses Safari Seat to go to university and attending education in media, or Agnes, who now, accessing a Safari Seat, can finally go to school, or Kadengen, who is a plumber and after an accident could not work anymore, but now with Safari Seat has started to work again. We have so far distributed 200 Safari Seat, and 70% of our users report improved mobility, quality of life, and opportunity, as the ones I've shown before. But we are not about distributing wheelchairs. We are also about changing lives. So our product development focuses on income generation and inclusion. In 2022, we bring to the market Safari Cart, a cart attached to Safari Seat to carry and display goods, and Safari Work, a worktop add-on transforming Safari Seat into a working and studying station. And in 2023, we will bring to the market Safari Kid, the all-terrain, low-cost wheelchair for children from 5 years old, so they can go to school, play with their friends, and blossom as they should. But let me show you now how our business and operational model allows us to serve low-income people with disability while being sustainable and profitable. The keywords of our model are innovation, partnerships, and low cost. We reach the poorest by selling to donors Safari Seat so we can provide them for free to the lowest income people with disability. In doing so, we partner with community-based organizations and institutions to identify and reach Safari Seat users. Moreover, we empower people with mobility impairment with the choice over their disability by selling Safari Seat to them at microcredit at terms that are meeting their purchasing power. We partner with community-based organizations, schools, churches, mosques, libraries, microfinance institutions to market Safari Seats to these customers. And we partner with microfinance institutions for managing the loan and hopefully in the future also for financing them. Moreover, we assure fast, low-cost, low-risk scale-up in East African country by selling to partner organization Safari Seat Box, which is a Safari Seat pre-manufactured and ready to be assembled by any bike shop in Africa. For assembling a Safari Seat this way, the partners do not have to do any investment in equipment. And by selling to partner Safari Seat Box, a pre-manufactured Safari Seat, we keep control of the quality and the intellectual property, and we avoid market entry barriers because we transform potential competitors in partners. Moreover, we sell to donors impact projects linking the provision of Safari Seat to job skills development, support to employment, and microcredit. And we do it in collaboration with local institutions. Focusing on the operational model, we assure low-cost, high-quality research and development by collaborating with universities. Specifically, Safari Kit, Safari Work, and Safari Cart, I mentioned before, are developed in collaboration with the University of London, Bristol, and Liverpool. And of course, we patent our product. The last pillar of our sustainability is low investment capacity. What I mean is that we outsource the manufacturing of parts to an industrial partner, and we keep the value-adding activity of research and development, assembling, and quality control in our workshop. This semi-industrial production allows us to scale up from the present 300 Safari Seat per year to 1,000 without increasing manufacturing costs. I'm speaking, of course, about salaries and not material. And of course, it is also a pillar of our scaling up in Eastern African country without putting pressure on our workshop because the partners are receiving the Safari box directly from the industrial manufacturer. Let me now speak about Tai financials. As you can see from this slide, Tai is breaking even in 2023. And thanks to committed donation in 22 and in 21, which already happened in 22, we are sustaining ourselves financially on the way to break even. Zooming in, you can see that our way to sustainability is mainly due to the dramatic decrease in production cost per Safari Seat, mainly salaries, and in lowering the burden of overheads as a percentage to sales. Last but not least, Tai team. I am Isabella, founder and CEO of Tai. I have experience in startups and social businesses in Africa and an MBA from INSEAD. Ken, our CEO, is also founder. He was supposed to do this presentation but could not come. He has a bachelor in business and 4 years experience in operations in Safari Seat. Kara and Gianna are the designers of Safari Seat. Kara is our CEO. She's a researcher in assisted mobility in the University of Liverpool, and Gianna is a professional designer, documentarist, and video maker. And this is the whole Tai team, including sales officer, Suleiman, that you have met already, and our workshop staff. So now our ask, which is why we are here.
Isabella, you're
If
out
you are
of
a
time.
donor-
Wrap up, please. Thank you.
Yes, if you are a donor, you may be interested in buying safari seats from us for financing their distribution for free to low-income mobility impaired people, or financing our project of employment development for 100 beneficiaries. These two are summing up for $430,000. Moreover, if you are a donor or an investor, you may be interested in supporting our development by contributing to our microcredit sales fund, or the development of Sahari Kid, or the setup of our new workshop, the hiring of a fundraiser of CFO, and the impact service we want to carry in 22 and 23. This sum up to $270,000 US. And of course, we need operational credit line to run our business. Thank you very much for your attention. I am Isabella. These are our contacts. You can go to our website or check our Facebook page. Thank you again.
Thank you, Isabella. Thank you very much. All right, over to the judges for any questions for Isabella and the Tai team.
Okay. So thank you, Isabella. My first question is, what is the unit cost of each of these safari shares?
The unit cost is now it's about $260, and it's going to go down to $240 in the next years. And let's say half of it so far is a bit less than half is material and more than half is salaries in 21, but the salary is going to go down as a percentage of the costs.
That is roughly how much Kenya shillings?
It's about 26 to 28,000 Kenya shillings.
And how many
depending
units?
on the change you use, you know.
Okay, how many units have sold out or are sold out as of now?
So far 200. So far 200, and we have committed buying 116.22 and 116.23.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, just to clarify, when I say cost of unit, it's every cost included.
Okay. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Just to follow up on one of the questions that he asked, the 200 units that you've sold so far, what's the timeline for that? You know, like, has it been within the last 1 year, within the last 6 months? It would be great to just understand that. And then
we distributed last year 110 safari seats, and in the first 3 months of 22, we have distributed 40.
Ah, okay, great, thank you. Then also, and I think I may have missed it, I would be keen to understand, like, were you not to rely on partnerships with, you know, donors to supply the wheelchairs? What would be the price that you take your product to the market with?
So let me just share my screen again, okay. And I can, oh, no, it doesn't work, sorry. So when we sell to donors, we sell between 300 and 350 US dollars, so it's like 31 to 36,000 shillings per wheelchair. It also, you know, depends on the negotiation with the donor. And when we sell to with microcredit to users, we sell it at 30,000 shillings. And when we sell the Safari box to partners, we sell it at about 17,000 Kenyan shillings because we don't have to assemble it. So there is no, you know, the cost of salaries are not included in the price.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think that's all from me.
Douglas or Suparna, any questions?
Yeah. Hi. Thank you very much for the presentation. My just quick question is, what is the potential market for these devices?
I think that, the only thing which is limiting us is our ability to cover the market, because again, we are talking about 20 million people in Africa and 3 million in East Africa, which so far is our target market. So the problem is not, the size of the market, the problem is our ability of covering this big size of market. And we don't have really, how can I say, direct competitors, because there is no low-cost all-terrain, with such an high performance in East Africa so far. Either you go for lower performance, or you go for wheelchairs that cost 10 times more what Safari Seat costs, if you want to have the performance it is giving.
I have a question with regards to the microcredit. So is it Tai partnering with a microcredit, and is the user the one who's paying the microcredit institution?
So, so far we are financing and managing the microcredit scheme in-house, mainly because we could not find until now a microcredit institution, a microfinance institution willing to take the risk of giving microcredit for an assistive technology, which is not perceived as an income generating asset, and to people with disability, which are perceived as not reliable. Now we are discussing finally with a microfinance institution, which is Nyali Capital. They have already a big chunk of their, their clients who have a disability, so they are kind of playing in the same room we are playing, and we are discussing with them to partner for having them first managing the loans, and when we have, how can I say, shown the case, the business case for microcredit of assistive technology to people with disability, maybe to participate also in the finance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Isabella, for stepping in and presenting on behalf of Ken. And please wish him the best from us for a quick recovery.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we are going to move on to our next startup or innovator, which is Brian from Hope Tech, who is going to be presenting the Sixth Sense. Is Brian available? All right, welcome, Brian.
Hi, I'm going to be presenting virtually.
Wonderful. It looks like our showcase had a couple of missteps. Ken got sick. Brian got stuck outside of the country with a positive COVID test, and he's bearing with us and joining us virtually. He's going to show us his innovation, the Sixth Sense, and also present for all of you. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Mwenda from Hope Tech, and I'm very happy to be here to present to you the work that we do. And Hope Tech is a company based in Kenya, and we are building independence solutions for visually impaired people. So over the last 5 years, we've launched solutions for visually impaired people in mobility, how they can access employment. all the obstacles in their path. And we mapped the path from the ground level all the way up. And what we came up with is called the Sixth Sense. It's a wearable device that someone wears on their chest, and it comes with 2 bracelets. And what happens is that the chest-mounted device will scan the area that is in front of you, and sort of the belt itself has some vibration motors, so it will be vibrating as you walk, and it gives you distance data, so you can tell how far an obstacle is, and also it gives you the location of an obstacle. So if you're walking and it vibrates on the left, you know there's something on the left. If it vibrates on the bracelets, you know maybe there's something on the ground or there's a ground change. So it's very easy for someone to tell where an obstacle is, as opposed to using any other aid that will not give this kind of information. So basically, we're trying to free the user's hands to do other things, and also we're trying to sort of go for a more natural way of feeling the environment for a visually impaired person. So they would practically need more information about the environment to walk, and the more information we can provide them, the easier it is for them to walk independently. And what we're trying to do is sort of like turn the body into a haptic map of using vibrations and all these sensors to feed them the information about their immediate environment such that they can navigate. So our main USPs include that it's fully wearable, meaning you're free to use your hands for other reasons, other uses. And also there are visually impaired people who want something which is discreet, so they don't want to use the white cane, especially in settings where they may not feel comfortable being standing out. So this product is discreet, and also it has a range of up to 5 meters compared to the white cane, which detects just a few steps away. And the haptic technology that we are using is quite intuitive and easy to understand. And also the tech is scalable, meaning we can introduce other aspects of obstacle detection and navigation into the product in future. So the current stage that we're at is that we have a working prototype, which is quite big because the electronic components right now are quite large. And we've tested this in different countries because we want to have like a large enough market once we launch so that it can make more commercial sense. And so right now the device works well to detect the obstacles, and the vibration motors work. So the next step for us is to package this into a small size device, the size maybe of a GoPro, which someone can easily use to, which can be fit into the user's clothing, and it doesn't have to be very obstructive. So we have intellectual property in this because we are the first people to fully create a solution that fully replaces the white cane, and we have a published patent, we have registered trademarks, and we also have the trade secrets register that we keep with us. In terms of other products that use deep tech solutions to solve such kind of problems for visually impaired people, we find that most of the solutions out there are very costly, and they're also available to only people with low vision. So someone who is completely blind cannot use most of these solutions, and they cost thousands of dollars. So what we're trying to do is come up with a solution that is low cost, and as well as it's a mass market product, so it has to be low cost. In terms of the market out there, there are over 300 million visually impaired people. These are people with severe to no sight loss, and this will be like our total addressable market. And launching in Kenya, the market is quite small, where we have, I think the data is not very clear, but the data from National Council for Persons with Disabilities puts it at around 1 million visually impaired people. So it's quite small if you want to launch a product that needs such kind of technology to develop. So that's why we are looking at other countries in East Africa and also other countries in Europe, so that once we launch, because it's a solution that can be used anywhere in the world. So we've been working with people from all these countries to develop this solution together, and which is a main pillar of how we develop. And we've also been working with distributors for assistive technology for visually impaired people, such as Kenya Society for the Blind in Kenya, and others in other countries, which makes it easier for us to reach our market quickly. And this is how we go to market. we're looking at selling to these distributors and organizations to distribute and train their members. So we can pass on that function of training to them. And we're looking at a final price point of around between $200 and $300 because currently the cost of manufacturing one is we're approximating it to around $100, which is like 10,000 shillings. And we believe the price point of up to 30,000 shillings will not exclude many visually impaired people, especially since it's something for everyday use. We've been working with several partners, especially in the trials, in the product development from different countries. And I believe our partnership is what has really helped us to move very quickly to have this kind of even prototype out there so far. And they're very valuable to us. And like I mentioned, the product is quite scalable. So we are looking at introducing other aspects of obstacle recognition and also navigation so that we can offer this to someone who's visually impaired. So there's a lot more we can do in the future for visually impaired people using this technology. So our team at HopeTech is quite lean. There is 3 co-founders at HopeTech. Myself, I'm sort of an engineer by training, and also I lead the whole team. And then my co-founder does one of my co-founders is the legal head. So legal and compliance, which is quite a huge thing for us in terms of the IP and also getting compliant to work with visually impaired people. And then my third co-founder deals with business development and securing all these partnerships that we have. In terms of the engineering, we also work with partners and intellectual property, and also building the community of people to do the trials and test out our products. So it's sort of a lean team working with many partners to bring this product to the market. Thank you. That's my contact, and I'm very happy to talk more if you're interested in helping us to build independence for visually impaired people. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. And thank you for staying within the 10 minutes. Do you have the product with you that you can show on camera, or
yes.
is that not available?
Yes, there's a video I was requesting to be played, a very short video. So I don't know if you have that.
Well, since we have the 10 minutes, let's have the judges ask questions. If we still have a few minutes, then we can play the video. Let's hold on the video. Thank you. All right, judges, questions for Brian? Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. I'm not sure I understood from your presentation how exactly, what is the communication between the vibrations and how the person who is wearing the device can get the information? It was not clear at all to me. Thank you.
Yeah, so like what I'm holding is sort of calling it, it's how the final product would look like. And it's basically chest one mount, which is sort of like the belt. And then the sensor unit is at the front. So the small unit here is the sensor unit. And this is what detects the obstacles. Then the belt has the haptic motors to sort of vibrate when there's an obstacle. So when you put that on your chest, if there's an obstacle on the right, the vibration motors on the right will vibrate. And when you turn slightly to the left, they would stop vibrating. So you're sort of feeling your way using these vibrations from the device.
Thank you.
All right, other questions?
Now, thank you, Brian. The innovation, has it been recognized and awarded before?
Yes, so we've received several awards internationally. For example, the Africa Prize for Engineering Innovation, and also we have Leaders in Innovation Fellowship award. Yeah.
What is the unit cost of the gadget?
Yeah, so the unit cost we're looking at between 20,000 and 30,000 shillings. We haven't put the price down, especially if we can navigate the taxation and distribution aspects, then we'd be able to put it the price closer to 20,000. But then if we can't, we're looking at 30,000 for selling in Kenya, and our production cost is around 10,000 shillings.
When was the very first award? Was it 2016 or that was, it was thereabout?
So we've, like I mentioned, we've been developing a mobility solution for the last 5 years. And we had a smart cane first. So the first product that we did was a smart cane. And some awards have come for the smart cane. But then this particular product, we started developing it less than 2 years ago. And some awards, we just get them as a company for the work that we do in inclusion for people with visual impairment. Yeah.
And so far, how many units have you sold out?
We've sold the smart cane, but this product is still in prototype stage, where we're looking for funding to sort of build the commercial model. But in terms of the smart cane, we did over 2,000 units across the country. So we have experience selling such kind of products to visually impaired people in Kenya.
And who are your competitors?
I'd say right now will be the smart canes, like the one that we had, and also the white cane. But in terms of something that is wearable and replaces the cane, we don't have, in terms of the technology that we're using, we don't have like a very direct competitor. Yeah.
Thank you. Adelaide, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. So just to add on to the question that was asked on the user journey, I was trying to understand what does the watch, I was about to call it a smartwatch, sorry. But what does the watch define as an obstacle, right? For example, when I'm walking in town, are other people obstacles so that, you know, like I can easily walk in town if I'm blind? Because you see, sometimes the beauty of having a cane is that we can see that you're blind, right? So anyone would easily just give you some way. But you see with a watch now, you blend in. And so people will not be that accommodative as they would normally be if you had a cane. So I was just trying to understand, does the like obstacle is just like poles and everything, or also people and moving things as well? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So what we're trying to do is sort of like create a virtual feeling of what's happening in front of the user. And the good thing we can do with the vest is that we can give different messages using vibration patterns. So if you learn a few simple vibration patterns, you can differentiate between people, you can differentiate between obstacles on the ground and obstacles to your right, to your left. So someone who's visually impaired and has a bit of training can easily walk down the street with using just these vibrations, and they will know exactly what's happening around them. And in terms of using the cane, someone can use a lighter cane, which is a symbol cane, so that once you have that, it's not really for obstacle detection, but other people know that you're visually impaired. And there's this other group that doesn't want people to know that they're visually impaired, so they will still be accommodated in our product where they don't have to use the white cane. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Then also, a last question. So is it that you will be importing the parts and then you assemble like the parts in Kenya, or the assembling is done outside and then you import the whole product, or yeah?
Yeah, so to reduce the cost, we'd think of manufacturing the entire product outside and then importing that, especially because goods for people with disabilities are tax exempt. But if we import the parts, we'll still have to pay taxes on the parts. It's still a huge navigation journey to navigate tax exemption for such kind of products, but it will be easier for us to manufacture at lower cost and also import and sell tax without having to pass the cost of the tax to the end user if we manufacture the whole device outside. So that will be our preferred route.
And I think that question is one that maybe we can look to Kenya to maybe support our startups and innovators with navigating the tax issues with the raw products, because it would be great to be able to manufacture these products locally. Douglas, do you have any questions for Brian?
So, Brian, I have 3 questions for you, and one of the questions will be, have you done a demo with an actual visually impaired person within Nairobi? Because the technology looks good, but you can only tell it's working to someone who's visually impaired. So what was their feedback and response? For example, walking in CBD, you have so many moving obstacles, so many moving objects.
Yeah, so we have done some trials in Nairobi, and actually there's a video, but from the video it was an indoor trial, and what we got was that visually impaired people are very happy to get this additional information. They could still use their white cane in town, but then the device gives them all this other extended information. So I think we are seeing our product becoming sort of like a complementary device to the white cane, and sort of giving them now that complete independence and filling in the gaps where the white cane doesn't come through. And I think we're getting a lot of support from the participants that have taken part so far, and I'm hoping we'll have some time to play the video soon. Yeah.
And my other question is, your product comprises of 3 modules. So what happens in the event of one sensor fails?
Yeah, so the device is comprised of the 2 bracelets and the chest strap. So the device is meant to work completely well without the bracelets. The bracelets just give you additional vibration information. And in terms of the replacement and servicing, the good thing is that most of our distributors have it's a short journey to get to the user. So the user can easily take their products for servicing or for repairs or even for spare parts at the distributor.
Okay, that's it for me.
All right. Thank you very much, Brian and the judges. All right, so our next presentation and pitch is going to be from Prof. Mungai, who is going to be, oops, sorry about that, who is going to be presenting on yet another mobility solution. And my timer has refused to stop. On yet another mobility solution. Karibu, Prof. Mungai.
Thank you. My name is Mbogwa Wamungai. I come here to present to you a solution to a problem we have, which is Pepesi wheelchair. Let me start by giving you a very small anecdote about Grace. Grace is my student. One day I found Grace outside Kenyatta University, stranded in the rain. She uses a wheelchair. She was with her sister. I stopped to help. So I asked her, what's the issue? And she says, no matatu will take me in this wheelchair. So I asked them to pack the wheelchair in the boot of my car, and I took them to wherever they were going. So the next time I saw Grace, she came to my office, but she was in a very big wheelchair, and she was looking quite tiny, plonked in that big wheelchair. So that is what prompted us to begin thinking about the problem of wheelchairs in terms of A, how can we transport wheelchairs much more easily? And B, how can we make them work for the people they are meant to serve? In other words, fit them to serve the purpose for which the users require them. So that the problem having been identified, our solution is, one, bring to the market a fully customizable wheelchair, and B, one whose parts are readily available, C, one that can be serviced locally, cheaply. The wheelchair MVP you have here, this is the third iteration from our prototype. If I had the time, I could dismantle all of these things. This wheelchair is fully dismantleable. The main frame has been done by our local engineers at Gearbox. This guard frame is removable to guard the feet from being knocked about. And very importantly for people with disabilities who use this kind of device, this helps you to push the door as you want to enter into a building, because you can hardly reach the lever, so you need some assistance to hold the door, and then you can navigate your way through. Then there's this clip here on both sides. If you remove it, the wheelchair folds back inside, and the back end here has another clip here, which you fold over to the front. You detach the wheels, and you can pack away your chair quite easily. But we are also thinking it is not just a question of the availability of wheelchairs. It is also about people being able to know where this information is about wheelchairs, and people being able to tell you what their needs are. How do I roll this thing? I need to go to the next slide. Yes, so we are hoping to match our problem of the wheelchair with an IT aspect. That is the slide right there. This is an online system that our in-house engineers in IT have developed, whereby the client is able to feed the information about their mobility needs onto the platform, which is available in the software, and then they can, with the assistance of a medical practitioner, fit the wheelchair for their needs. They'll send that to our system, and we'll be able to see it from our end, and our engineers will be able to fit the wheelchair for the particular needs that have been identified by these people. And then the feedback can also go back. So we think it is important to pair hardware and software, IT, so that the demand side of the market and the production side of it are brought together. So we are thinking that in order for this to work, we need to create a big online community. And that is why the IT aspect comes there. And so that in our revenue model, you will see that we want to push a lot of our wheelchairs through our platforms to our buyers, that is the clients. We want to be able to talk to people and engage them on our online shop. We want them to be able to tell us, this works, this doesn't work, this price works. We want to be able to supply wheelchair parts to them. We want to be able to repair them efficiently, in time, because that is a big problem with the wheelchair use in this country. You cannot repair your gadgets on time. And this user requires this thing as a very critical aspect of their mobility needs. And then, very important, which is why we want to incorporate data gathering into the whole production process, we want to be able to establish in time how many people need wheelchairs in this country, how do they need them, what is it that they need them for, so that our processes will be data-driven, and we should be able to use that data either also as a way of getting revenues ourselves, or as a way of communicating with other partners in the industry to see how this works. We shall be relying as well for our sales on partnerships with government agencies. Hospitals are a key partner. We want to make use of referrals. We will be making use of direct sales to clients. And very important, this is not something that many people will tell you, word of mouth amongst wheelchair users is very important, which is why we are very insistent that we create a community of users, because word of mouth does something to get you some trust, whether in business or anywhere else. And we want to capitalize on that. And we also want to be able to interest insurance companies in ensuring these gadgets, because anyone will tell you that uses a wheelchair that it is not an easy thing to replace one. So you need an insurer to work with who can actually look at the data, who can engage actuary scientists to tell you this is the way this is going to work, and we can actually do some insurance business with these people, especially the ones that are going to do the leasing. That is going to be a very important way of engaging insurance companies. We are also thinking that we are going to capitalize on the QR code that we are going to use on our parts. That's a very important part of the IT aspect of our business. So that when we reproduce parts, we reproduce exact parts that clients need. For your information, everything about this wheelchair, apart from the side panels and the wheels, the main frame, which is the real thing, has been done here. And it has been done to very high specs by our engineering partners. So we want to leverage on the exactitude of mechanical reproduction to be able to produce quality standard wheelchairs. For this purpose, we need to do some further development on our online system. So we have, at present, a pre-order of 26 chairs based on the MVP that we have. But we want to use those 26 wheelchairs to do a pilot in the market. You know, we began with the 5 people who piloted our first prototype, and based on that, we changed a few things to arrive at the present MVP. So we want to use the 26 to do a further pilot and see what really works best for users. So that from this, we can then move to a sports wheelchair, and then we can move to do another one best suited for rough terrain. So for research, development, piloting of the 26 units, we are here seeking 40,000 USD to enable us to do that phase of our project, as well as to complete the formulation of our online system, and in time, remove it from being merely a web-based application and take it to, online system, and take it to an application which people can put in their phones. So you don't really need the internet, and you can even use it in rural areas to send on information to us. Our team is comprised of those people. I'm the lead. I'm the founder and CEO. My partner, Ken Gesho, he is back there. Everybody else, apart from the 2 people at the bottom, are people with various types of disabilities. And we thought the guy in the middle, who helped us to design 50% of this gadget, he is an end user himself. And our IT person, Claude is seated in the crowd. He is also a person with a disability. So our wheelchair has been tested by people with disabilities, and they have been involved fully in the design process, and now they are helping us with the IT aspects of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's good? Thank you very much, Prof. Questions from the judges for Disability Innovation Suite and their wheelchair?
For me, my question is one, and it's in the leasing part. So how does it work? Because when you are leasing a product that's focusing on a low-cost market, it's normally a slippery slope when it comes to payment. So what's the angle aspect of leasing? That's my only question.
If I may take that one quickly, our leasing is particularly aimed at people who require our wheelchairs for short-term use. For example, people who have road traffic accidents, they will require those hospital wheelchairs, but which, if you look very carefully, they are not suited for any use outside the hospital setting. This is a daily use wheelchair which you can take home with you. If you lease this for 2 months, it's going to be very expensive for you. If you lease it long term, it's going to be cheaper So our target market for the leasing is precisely the individuals who require this for very short-term use. It doesn't make sense any other way.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Can you tell me what the weight of this wheelchair is?
This thing is exactly 19.5 kilos. We measured it this morning, including this, 19.5, which compares very well to most, because I know some that are actually 50, 52 kilos. If you dismantled this and you needed to travel in a matatu, you can actually place this on your lap. And nobody has an excuse for leaving you behind. And in time, one of the accessories we want to include here, which is going to be part of our sales revenue, is a suitcase that you can use to carry the mainframe so that it's not spoiled along the way, or some people don't mess up with it for storage.
So you did mention that the front protector or whatever, the door pusher is detachable.
Yes, this actually comes off. I wish I could be able to remove it. It does come off.
But somebody would have to be using a screwdriver?
No. Actually, allow me. This thing is not screwed.
Okay.
It's very easy. Where you need a small toolkit, and I'll explain why, and we have it here, is because once you have figured out, like we do with our cars, we all have a favorite driving position. Right. Then you lock that. If you only get to dismantle the pin here, if you need to pack it away for long distance travel. This is the only point where you need the toolkit. Yeah. Because the rims come off simply by pushing this pin here, and you can detach them.
And then where do you pack all the stuff? For example, you're using this and you want to take a bus or public transport of some sort.
Yes.
Then how easily dismantleable is it, and where will you carry all that?
Good question. You see, this thing, if you removed all these parts, because the easiest part to remove it is the wheels and this becomes a very tiny thing, and at the back of every matatu, there is usually the seat at the back there, which has a hollow space. This guy is just going to pack it in there. Because you realize this is material that can be ruined, say, by rainwater. So we want to avoid people putting this wheelchair on top of the matatu carriage, because it's personal. And we need some form of dignity for the person that's going to be using this.
Thank you very much.
Is it correct to say that you have only piloted with 5?
Yes, absolutely.
And what was the criteria of only piloting with 5?
The reason was, these were the people that were readily available to us. They are our students, actually. And which is why when we did the first prototype, we gave it to them, and it was actually one that they would exchange amongst themselves. So that then they gave us feedback, and we sat back with this gentleman who helped us with the design and the engineers, and we said, oh yeah, that makes sense. So now the reason why we want to pilot on a larger scale is so we have more reliable data to go on to forestall the kind of question you asked.
And then, please proceed.
Okay. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I really like how you are reliant on data and you want to collect a lot of data, but I'm a bit worried also at the same time, because I'm trying to think, with the customization of each and every wheelchair, how does that affect the turnaround time? So, for example, how long did it take you for you to customize and build this wheelchair?
This took us, the first prototype we produced in about 2 months. This took us a little bit longer because we needed to pay keen attention to the issues that were raised. For example, some of the folding could not be done very precisely with the machines we had. So now we had to move to Gearbox, who have a better and higher precision machines. The biggest challenge is this. You are outsourcing to a company that's producing other goods, so your product is just one of those.
Yeah.
My thinking is, and this is why we are convinced that we need to develop capacity for local production. If we were to produce this thing and we have, like somebody said, the exemption on materials imported, we can import high volume materials so that the specs that are sent to us online will only take a very little time because we are doing everything in-house. Otherwise, now we are hampered by the fact that we have to outsource everything.
Okay. Great, thank you. I think my last question is out of curiosity, really.
Yes.
I realized with your wheelchair, the small wheels are at the front, and the last wheelchair, so the small wheels were at the back.
Yes.
So I was wondering, how does that affect how the wheelchair actually works?
If you noticed, the previous wheelchair has higher capacity for non-event terrain, right? So this is designed as a daily use wheelchair for event terrain. Right? So that you don't need big front casters here. However, we have small casters at the back, small wheels at the back there. Yeah. These are the anti-tippers. Okay. So that if this guy is going uphill, they are not going to roll backwards. So that's the purpose of that anti-tipper.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe a quick one that went out of my mind. You mentioned sports.
Yes.
And then you also mentioned ordinary use.
Yes.
Where is the focus and where is the priority?
Yes, good question. I did mention that for now, this daily use wheelchair is our focus. However, we realize that for persons with disabilities, especially those who use wheelchairs throughout, there is a big health risk if you don't do more agile activity. So our next point of focus will be the sports wheelchair after we have perfected the art of producing this. Because you realize with the sports wheelchairs, they are very, very specialized to a particular market segment. So we wouldn't want to take that risk first before we understand how this is going to work with the general market.
And in the context of customization, because
yes.
I see the aspect of customization is really coming out.
Yes.
Who do you perceive or project to be your competitor?
Oh yes, we have competitors. Do you want names? We have local producers. I don't want to name them, but they are not producing what we are doing. Here's the thing: a lot of the stuff that comes in is done elsewhere, in China particularly, shipped to Guatemala, Kenya, and South Africa. And Kenya is just an assembly point. And we are saying we ought to change that. We can develop local capacity to produce these things. All these pipes were bent in industrial area. If we get the capacity to purchase the machines, these are things we can do for ourselves and even do it much more quickly. The disruptions of COVID have been very illustrative. Shipping of wheelchairs from China was delayed by a duration of 3 months. A lot of people know this. So that then, this means the guy who had his wheelchair ruined had to wait for 3 months immobile, or they have to be carried on their shoulders. So we are thinking about the efficiency not just of cost, but also of time, because this gadget is critical to how people with disabilities function.
Thank you very much. We're going to have to wind up Thank you very much. We are now going to move to Steve, who is going to talk to us about their innovation that has to do with inclusive gardening or agriculture. Karibu sana, Steve.
Can I use it? Okay, good afternoon. My name is Stephen Mula Mwanza, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Will Garden. Yes, forward. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm learning. So at the Will Garden, our motto is Kilimo kwa wote, and that is agriculture for all. And we want to make agriculture more inclusive, accessible, and a lot more fun for all of us. During the COVID period and at the height of the lockdown, I went back home and I started farming. But I realized my cousins who have cerebral palsy weren't able to join me in the farm, even though they really wanted to. And then again, when I came back to Nairobi, I still wanted to continue with farming, but the only space I had was my small balcony. And then thirdly, from my interactions with children and kids in primary school, to them agriculture is something that, it's something for the old people, it's something that their grandparents do, and especially after retirement. And that was concerning to me personally because I'm an agriculture engineer. And so we came up with the Will Garden. The Will Garden is a miniature Ferris wheel that has been modified so that it can be easily used even when you're seated or on a wheelchair. From the photo, this was our first prototype. It is also small in size, so it's perfect for the balcony area or even the backyard. And then thirdly, kids see it as a toy and they want to play with it. And so as they play with it, they can also learn about agriculture. Finally, our market. As of the 2019 census, we have 2.2% of our population are persons with disabilities, and that's close to almost 1 million. Also, we have 28% of our population lives in urban areas, such as Nakuru and the cities, Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nairobi. And then we have 32,000 institutions, primary institutions, that are now picking up the CBC. And so our Will Garden would be perfect for such institutions, especially where we have children who use wheelchairs. Then our revenue streams, we generate our revenue from the direct sale of our products to the consumer. We also offer consultancy services as well as maintenance services where we are able to sell spare parts of the Will Garden. On to channels. Here are our channels. We are active on social media and we are able to interact with both present customers as well as future customers, and we are able also to get our story out there. We've also taken part in trade expos. For example, we took part in the Kiambu Innovation Week, and from that we were even able to get one customer. Also, we rely on referrals from our customers. And finally, collaborations. We want to partner with institutions, organizations that deal with persons with disabilities, as well as schools, and schools. Finally, to our competitors, we've identified 2 competitors in the market. We have Urban Smart Gardeners and City Shamba. But what sets us apart is that we are focused on bringing agriculture and making agriculture accessible to persons with disabilities. We also have unique designs that we are protecting through patents. And what will we do with the money? Number one, we want to invest in technology with the aim of reducing cost of production of the Will Garden. And this involves having our own workshop where we're able to build our things in-house, as well as also invest in cheaper and better materials such as recycled plastics. Second, we also want to invest the money in marketing. We want to create awareness of who we are, and we want to tell our story out there. And then we also want to staff. We want to bring on board expert people who will help us in the manufacturing process as well as in the distribution process. And last but not least, we also have other designs that we are working on. And so the money will also go to research and development. This is the team. As I said, my name is Stephen Omwansa. I have my co-founder back there. Her name is Margaret Joy Obado, and both of us are agriculture engineers. We also have our friend Walter Mshini, who's our digital marketer, and he helps us in the digital space. There we are. Here are our Instagram and Twitter accounts. Please follow us, and thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I'll hang around for questions, but I do want to say that one of the things that Steve and Margaret shared with me is that they're both, well, they are done with college, but they're still both students waiting to graduate in June. And I think that this is an awesome example of young people innovating and not just waiting to get jobs when they get out of college. So I'd like to give them an extra hand for that. All right, questions from the judges, please. No questions.
Are you in the market?
Yes, we've been able to sell one product, and we are waiting to sell others. We have other customers, about 3 of them in line, but we've only sold one so far. Yeah.
How much is the unit cost of each?
The one we made, we sold it for 20,000, but now the cost in price, the increase in materials has made us to reevaluate how much we sell it now.
Okay. Yeah. And in the market, do you have competitors?
Yes, we have we have Urban Smart Gardeners and City Shamba, but for them, they only deal with urban agriculture. They don't deal with persons with disabilities.
So my question will be, I don't know, maybe if you can give me an estimate.
Yes.
The break even for a user. So, for example, you have said that a unit costs 20,000 shillings.
Yes.
So whatever the user will plant, if it's for business, how long will it take for them, for the equipment to actually be profitable to them?
Yes.
You get? So
yes.
If it's kales, if it's spinach, what's the quantity capacity that it can handle for them to say that this is actually of value to me?
Right now, the models we have are really just for subsistence, that someone can grow it and harvest and have their own vegetables. But we are working on different designs that will enable us to have even more plants than just right now we have 12 plants, from around 12 to 24 plants, but we are looking at how we can upscale the number of plants. Yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I think on the question that he's asked, at some point from your presentation, I felt like this is something that brought me for fun, right? Especially kids. So I was wondering, I think the tech, you've already established the tech. So what's the possibility of people doing more fun things than agriculture, right? So, because from where I'm sitting, I'm thinking, if you only do agriculture, it's a bit limiting, right?
Yes.
And then, so from your conversations that you've had with the schools, is there a possibility of having, it's the same tech, but now something even a bit more fun, right?
Yeah.
Something that's actually fun sometimes, right? Because I'm thinking, as a kid, you'll be excited about plants for a few, maybe weeks, and then at some point you're like,
yeah,
right?
Yes.
So, yeah, I think I'd be interested to just see how the product evolves past this.
Yes, we tried spinach with kids, and kids don't like their vegetables. But when we tried strawberries, we saw it sparked their interest, that they can take care of this strawberry plant and then get a strawberry from it. On top of that, to make it even, to expand on it, we've also put in an engineering aspect of it, where through supervision and guidance, a student is able to assemble theirs, build it up, and even use it. So they have that engineering aspect together with an agricultural aspect. Yes.
Thank you for your presentation and your design, but I have to say that I am not clear about what is your objective for this device. Is it for children? Is it for urban gardening? And if that is so, then what are the key factors that you have built in to make it a viable product for people to spend 20,000 plus to buy this device? Yeah, because
Yes.
I do urban gardening also, and I wanted to know what is the advantage. What kind of advantage are you looking at? Because there are many cheaper ways of producing food.
Yes. The initial concept for the project, this was our final year project in school, and the initial concept was for persons with disabilities, especially wheelchair users. So we engineered it according to ergonomics and safety measures, and the more it continued to grow, the more it built up a life of its own. So now we expanded into urban agriculture, as well as even competency-based curriculum in schools. So in terms of urban agriculture, we are working to, as I said, build up the population of plants that grow on it so that it can be economically viable, as well as reducing the size of it at the same time. So, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. I believe the next on the program is Linccell Technologies. Lincoln is here, and he's going to be telling us a little bit more about his electric wheelchair that he has actually taken to market. Karibu sana.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Lincoln Wamai. I'm the founder and CEO at Linccell Technology, and we are specialized with electric wheelchairs. So, this is my presentation. So I think there's a mix. The presentation is somehow mixed up. I don't know what the problem is. So we'll start with the problem. In the market, we currently have people who are suffering because they are using manual wheelchairs, which require a lot of energy to push, and you need a caregiver to assist you in pushing their wheelchairs. When using an electric wheelchair, we've noticed that people are becoming more independent. They are able to work and they're able to go for long distances, which they were not able to do before because they were using the manual wheelchairs. We have a very awesome technology because we are a green company and we use mainly recycled materials. We love recycling materials, and therefore the main technology we use is recycled lithium-ion batteries, which are light and can drive the wheelchair for a long time. We have different types of products. We have electric wheelchairs, we have scooters, and I'll talk about the scooters. We noticed we have people with disability just like me who are not able to, you can't use a wheelchair, but if you're able to use a scooter, you're more comfortable than a wheelchair, because we have people with disability who cannot be able to walk for long distances. So when they're able to use scooters, they really help them to move from point A to point B. We have lithium-ion batteries, which we do services like we replace the imported wheelchairs and upgrade the batteries using the lithium-ion batteries. We have some charging station for the wheelchairs, which for those people living in rural places and they cannot be able to access electricity, we have a charging system set up for them where they can be able to charge their wheelchairs. And we also do battery upgrades. We also do battery upgrades and repairs. Imported wheelchairs, those people import wheelchairs and don't import spare parts. So we noticed there was a gap. When you buy an electric wheelchair, the imported ones, there was lack of spare parts, and we measured on that by sourcing and importing new materials, spare parts for that. In the field, we have imported wheelchairs. Let me apologize for this. I think there's a mixture on the presentation. I don't know what happened, but I'll try and arrange it. We have competitors in the market, and those are the people who are importing wheelchairs and people who are building and importing manual wheelchairs. But mainly we focus on electric wheelchairs. Our advantages is our wheelchairs are off-road. They're able to move on rough terrains. They're able to travel for long distances in one charge. We have a good example. We have a prototype that can be able to run for over 60 kilometers in a single charge. That is enabled by the technology we have for the batteries. And we have wheelchairs even meant to be used by students. Like we have one student who is using our wheelchair in KU, and the wheelchair is really assisting the customer, because he was using a manual wheelchair before, and now he is able to visit and get to lessons on time. This attraction, we'll be able to sell a number of wheelchairs. That is, right now we are at number 67 wheelchair from 2018, and yes, we are at number 67, but from 2018, and we've managed to make a sale of over 2.5 million Kenya shillings. Our plans is to grow. By the end of this year, we want to get to over 100 wheelchairs, and by the year 2023, we want to be able to reach over 300 wheelchairs. So our financial projections is we've been able to sell wheelchairs. We've been in market for quite some time, and it has enabled us to sustain and enlarge our facility. And our financial ask is 50K USD. Like there's a picture on that page. That is our workshop. We've really exhausted the space we had in the workshop, and we really want to grow in order for us to be able to mass produce the wheelchairs, because the space is too limited. So in that 50K pounds, we would like to expand the wheelchair, develop a team, because we don't have enough team. We would like to invest in buying more machineries, like good welding machines, because we do everything indoor. And we would like to do trainings, marketing, because we've never done marketing. We've been relying on customer referrals and operations. We don't have a big team. We have 3 full employees, and we have 2 who are part-time. So I'm the CEO, and I'm Linccell Technology. We have John Ngash, who is somewhere at the back. He's our technician. And we have our office, the person who is managing the office, she's called Purity. And those are our partners.
Thank you, Lincoln. Hang around for questions from the judges. What questions do you have for Lincoln?
I could have first up. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. So I think you mentioned that apart from the manufacturing of your electric vehicle, the electric wheelchairs, you also do replacements?
Repairs.
Sorry?
Repairs.
Yeah, or repairs.
Yes.
Not that I come with my wheelchair not electric, then you make it electric.
Yes.
Okay.
That is deep. We love reusing materials and electric waste. So we don't like to see wheelchairs that are not being used. We always love to repair them and to see them on the roads. Pardon?
And that's regular wheelchairs, not just wheelchairs that came from.
We measure with electric wheelchairs.
Sorry?
Electric wheelchairs only.
Okay. Then I was also wondering, also facilitate the charging facilities, or yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. That is very important. Since our workshop is 100% solar powered, we have a free charging station for all our wheelchair users around our workshop.
Okay. Thank you. And where is the workshop?
Along Thika Road, Githurai 45.
Okay, great. Thank you. So if I had to charge my wheelchair, I'd have to come to you, or is it that I can also charge it at home?
You can charge at home. They have a charger. And the advantage is the wheelchair can be able to move for long distances on a single charge, over 30 kilometers to be precise.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you can clarify, where is the innovation?
The wheelchair and the battery.
The wheelchair is the innovation?
Yes. Actually, we were the first people to build an electric wheelchair in Africa. So the wheelchair and the battery is the innovation.
Okay. Have you been recognized and awarded before?
Yes, we have.
So thank you. Allow me to just ask one last question. I think you mentioned that you are the first or among the first to build an electric wheelchair. And I mean, from the traction, it seems the pickup has been relatively slow. So I was just trying to understand what has been your biggest challenge. Like what's been holding you back from actually scaling more than you have scaled to date.
Actually, the process has been slow because we lack enough resources. That is the money to do that. Yeah. Because we've never done any marketing since we started. We've been relying on customer referrals, and we've been doing. There's a kind of marketing we do by using the wheelchairs on the rural places. That is how we market our products. So we've never done any online or any proper marketing.
Yeah, that's a really nice innovation. My question is about marketing. So at what price are you selling it now?
Right now we're selling the wheelchairs at 900 USD. That is 90,000 Kenya shillings.
Yeah.
We actually have two different types of wheelchairs.
Right.
Electric. We have indoor and outdoor. The outdoor goes for 90,000 Kenya shillings, and the indoor goes for 80,000 Kenya shillings. But if you're able to mass produce the wheelchairs, I believe we can even go to 50,000 Kenya shillings.
Yeah. So my question to you is that, given that it's so expensive, what are you doing to make it available to people who really need it? Because obviously there's a real need, and people will always want to opt for an electric wheelchair rather than a hand-powered wheelchair, right?
Yes.
So besides doing referrals, are you thinking of investing in finding solutions so that people can buy this product? People who need it can buy this product.
Yes, like in my presentation, it was a bit disorganized. I never mentioned some few things. There's an image of a person in a church where the church donated and they bought a wheelchair for one of the members. Mainly, we've been encouraging people to donate because, affording a wheelchair is a bit tricky because they are a bit expensive, but you cannot compare our prices with the imported ones because ours is less than half the price. So mainly our customers rely on donations.
Okay. So for me, my question is, we know electrical items are ideally prone to so many external factors. So how have you designed it with regards to ease of repairability? So if, for example, it fails to work somewhere, can a local person be able to fix something small, or at the end of the day, it has to be delivered to your workshop for repair?
Actually, we have covered that in 3 different ways. Number one, we've made our spare parts available. Like we have a warranty of 1 year. So in case you have any electrical problem, we can send the part to, any local fundi can troubleshoot and we can send the spare part to you. Secondly, like the wheelchair that need upgrades, we've been mobilizing people from one area who bought the wheelchairs from us, and we've been visiting. Like for instance, last year the start of this year we visited our customers from Kitui, and we were able to do services on the imported and our products also, and we managed even to get more customers by that.
Thank you very much, Lincoln. Asante sana.
And I forgot this. I had some 2 videos, very short videos, which can make you more understand what I'm talking about. I don't know if they are available right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are out of time.
Okay.
Time is short, but maybe during the break we can run your videos so that people can see them. Wonderful, thank you. All right, so last but certainly not least, and I hope you haven't gotten tired of hearing all these wonderful innovations. We have Sylvia, who is heading this way with yet another innovation. She is a sanitation engineer and is doing innovative things to help with sanitation. Karibu sana, Sylvia.
Good afternoon. My name is Sylvia Nyaga, and I'm the founder and CEO of Syna Consultancy. And at Syna, And at Syna, we restore dignity in the lives of persons who are mobility challenged through provision of safe and dignified sanitation. Sorry. Sorry, yeah. So what you're looking at the screen is one comment that we had on one of our Facebook posts that we posted over Easter by Nyabero Moriri, and it says, quote unquote, "I have bought a chair and cut a hole in the middle. The challenge is that if I'm not at home, there is no one who can help my child to go to the toilet. It is a challenge." And this is just the story of Nyabero. And Nyabero is not the only one that goes through this challenge, but hundreds of thousands of mobility challenged persons go through this every single day, a majority of who live in rural areas where toilets are predominantly pit latrines. And I'm sure we all know pit latrines. And for people who are mobility challenged, they do not have body strength, waist down. And what this means is that they have to crawl in order to use the toilets. And this exposes them to diseases, and it strips them of human dignity. Yeah, and for those who are not able to use the pit latrines, they have to improvise and use things such as buckets. And for those who don't use buckets, then like Nyabero, they have to get a seat, cut a hole in the middle, and then put it over their toilets. And these methods are unsanitary, they expose them to diseases, they're very undignified, they're uncomfortable, and they promote open defecation. Because if I don't want to use a pit and I don't want to use a bucket, then that means that I'll have to go defecate somewhere in the bush. And our solution for this is the utulav toilet. It's what you can see here. It's basically a portable toilet. It's made up of a toilet support frame that's made to mimic a wheelchair. So it has a backrest for comfort. It has armrests for comfort as well. And then it has now the toilet component of it. The toilet has 2 tanks. So the top tank is a water tank, and the bottom tank is where the waste goes. And it uses very minimal water for flushing, 0.5 liters to be precise. And our toilet uses a waste digester, which are basically enzymes. And what the enzymes help with is, one, it ensures that there is no odor, because it's used multiple times before it's emptied. So if you have someone that's mobility challenged, you don't need to place them on the toilet each time. You can go about your day as long as the toilet is placed near them, say even in a room, because it's very compact. They can use it multiple times without there being an odor, and then it also ensures that the emptying process is very easy. And then with this frame, this is a standard design, but we are able to customize it depending on the needs of the user. It can be made wider, higher. It can be made to suit someone who has cerebral palsy, so we can add a neck rest and belts. So these are just photos of the toilet. The 2 tanks can be separated. The bottom and the top tank can be separated, which means also transportation becomes very easy. And our competitors are a commode and a bedpan. And our advantage is that our toilet is more hygienic, it's more comfortable, because when you compare to something like the bedpan is uncomfortable. If it's placed wrongly, there are chances of spillage. There are also chances of spillage during transportation. And this doesn't just expose the user to diseases, also the caregiver, because of splashback. And then our product is also patented in Kenya. Our business model is primarily a B2B model, where we are targeting NGOs, hospitals, and elderly homes. And our price currently is $300 US. And the market size in Kenya, the serviceable obtainable market, is $880,000 US. And when you look at the current trend, there's a rise in prevalence of chronic diseases as well as an aging population, which means that the market is getting bigger. And then so far, we've been able to carry out a pilot in the urban slums of Nairobi. So we did our pilot, it was successful. We got feedback from our users, and we are now in market. And we currently have a total of 15 active users. These are our financial projections, going from 200 units in year 1 to 5,000 units in year 5. This is the core team. Myself, I'm a water and environmental engineer and a social innovation manager. We have a business developer and an industrial designer. And our ask today is $50,000 US that will go into operations, production, and marketing. And what we want to do with production is, currently our product is a hybrid of importing and local fabrication, but we want to be able to locally fabricate the entire unit. And this will help us in reducing our production cost by 60%. Our production cost has been $200 US, but it recently rose to $210 US. But then we want to reduce that by 60%, all the way to $100 US maximum. And if we do mass production, we'll be able to reduce it even further. And what this will help us with is also reducing the price of the product, because one of the biggest hindrances we've been having in serving people that actually need this toilet is the cost, because $300 is a steep cost for persons who are mobility challenged, and a lot of them rely on their families or donation. So if you're able to reduce this cost, it means that we'll be able to serve more people. And our utopia is to decentralize production and serve all 5 regions in Africa. Yeah, so this is our contact and our email. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Any questions from the judges?
I mean, what do you think needs to be improved in reference to this device?
I think what we need to do right now is be able to locally manufacture this component, this bit of it. That's what needs to be done, and then it will help us reduce our cost. Yeah, but because for the wheelchair, for this frame, we're able to customize it depending on what the person needs, but then for the toilet itself, we are not able to make it internally.
In short, you are telling us that the local content, it's not 100% local content.
No, it's not 100% local, because for it to be 100% local, we'd need now an investment for us to be able to set up a local manufacturing plant that we've not been able to set up.
Thank you.
Thank you. How exactly are you marketing? You know, I saw that it's mentioned NGOs, hospitals, etc.
Yes.
But what is your plan? What is your plan to market? And then, do you have an idea of what the real demand? I mean, what real interest and demand is? What vis-a-vis your marketing plans?
So for marketing, we do online marketing, but we don't really rely on online marketing. We do a lot of field visits. So we go to hospitals and do demos. We go to homes for the elderly. We work with CBOs in communities, but we mostly rely on field visits so that people can see the product, because it's also really hard when I come and tell you, so I have this toilet and you can see it. So we do a lot of field visits. In terms of the market, there is a market, because even when you look at our inquiries and the conversion rate, our conversion rate is only 2%. But that's because of the price. So everyone hears the price and they're like, oh, we need to go discuss, so the family will get back to you. But they never come back. Sometimes we have people coming to us with 6,000 shillings, that's $60, and we can't sell it to them at $60. So we are sure the market is there, but the price is what is too high. Yeah.
How many units are sold out?
We've sold, we've done 10 units for piloting and donations. And then we had people, for the trial phase, we had people pay us 6,000, 5,000 just to test, because we are doing it in the slums. And the notion is that people in slums cannot pay. They only rely on donations. So we just charge them that 5,000, 6,000 to see if they can pay. But then fully selling, we've sold 5 units.
Thank you for the presentation. So my question is, from the conversations that you've had with hospitals, what has been their attitude or their uptake?
So with hospitals, the hospitals themselves as an organization, they're not able to take it, but they're able to recommend it to their patients. And the reason why they're not able to take it as an institution, especially for government hospitals, is because of standardization. So we need a medical device license, which we can't get if we don't have a KEBS license. But we can't get a KEBS license because there are no standards for the product in the market. So we filled the form, the KEBS form that you fill when you see you have a new product and whatnot, and they said they're developing the standards. So that's really out of our power right now. So we can only serve people who are willing to use the product without the medical license.
Okay, thank you.
You have, on your presentation, you have talked about cost being a factor. So with extra funding, can it get cheaper? And if it can, by an estimate of how much?
Yes, by extra funding, if you're able to do it locally, if you're able to produce this toilet locally, the cost will reduce by 60%.
So that's about.
So that's a production cost of 120, inclusive overhead costs.
So by the time the end user acquires it, probably less than $200.
Yes, and that's if it's not in mass.
And so who is your focus customer? Is it a user or is it an organization?
Our focus user right now is organizations.
Okay.
Yeah.
For all the wonderful presentations today, all the wonderful pitches. Thank you, judges, for your attention and your great questions. What we are going to do next is we're going to go on a break. I've been promised there's going to be some small things to eat in about 10 minutes. It gives us 10 minutes for anyone who wants to talk to any of the startups and ask any questions, see any of the innovations, to go ahead and do that. We're going to break for that 10 minutes. When the food comes out, please get some food and come back to the table so that we can continue with the program and finish. I'd like to try and finish on time, just to be respectful of everyone's time. I'm sure people have things to do on a Friday evening. So feel free to walk around, see the products, talk to others. And for the people online, give us about 20 minutes or so, and we'll be back for the awarding of the prizes and to finalize. Thank you.
My name is James Jeroge.
I believe even outside there, we have so many youth who think they can't do something that people will appreciate because they just form for livers or not educated. The secret is just try. My name is Linccell Technology, 30 years of age. I build electric vehicles. I started by making tricycles. I believe even outside there, we have so many youth who think they can't do something that people will appreciate because they just form for livers or not educated. The secret is just try. My name is Linccell Technology, 30 years of age. I
and incorporating technology into our daily life.
My name is James Njoroge. I work at the National Library Service, Braille section. In Braille section, we serve people with visual impairment, and we have books in Braille and talking books. I live at Ruiru, that is quite far from Upper Hill, and there are challenges coming to work and going back home because of the traffic and mobility orientation. It's a very good device. I love it, and it's easy to use and it's very effective because once you approach an obstacle, it will vibrate on which the obstacle is, whether it's on the left or right or it's at the middle. It will vibrate to alert you that there is something ahead of you.
This innovation, it's hands-free, and also the vest itself, I get to walk without using my cane, which sometimes poses some challenges, because if I'm using my cane, then one of my hands
Okay, thank you everyone for an amazing afternoon. I hope everybody got something to eat and drink. I can see that there are a lot of good conversations going on. I hope that you got to network and get some good resources for the startups, for everyone that's in the room. We are waiting for one of the judges. This is actually going to be a surprise for the judges as well. We've accumulated the scores, and we have 3 winners. So if you just give us a minute or two, one of the judges, Miss Adeline Jockey, had to leave. She had a prior commitment at 5, but we're waiting for Dr. Gatama, and then we will do the award ceremony. We'll get a few, or maybe many, parting remarks from the Villgro Africa CEO, Wilfred Njagi, and then we will be free to go and innovate. Agnes, are we close to Dr. Gatama getting back? Close? And for the people who joined us online, thank you for your patience. It shouldn't be too much longer. I guess I could sing for you, but I don't think you'd enjoy that too much. Okay, I see them coming. All right, Wilfred, I'll ask you to come up so that we can do the award ceremony. Which would you like to do? While we're waiting for those people to come in, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do the remarks. Okay, so I'm waiting for Dr. Tonny and Dr. Gatama to come in. That's what I was thinking. We're awarding 3. You? Well, if he can come in, if he comes in. We are ready to go. Okay, so as always, we start with the second runners-up. Dr. Tonny, do you want to come up and help us with award presentations also? Since wonderful. All right, so the second runners-up is a company that we were very impressed with. Apparently, the judges were very impressed with as well. And they are going to need to come up and get an award for being second runners-up. So Solomon from Tai, could you please come up and get the award on behalf of Tai? Congratulations. All right, so Tai Ltd gets a check for $4,000 and our congratulations. Yes, Solomon, please say something.
I'm so much excited, guys. Thank you.
And the first runner-up is somebody who was a little bit nervous, but did a great job, and we think that their innovation is going to be a very useful assistive technology. Sylvia from Syna Consultancy. Congratulations. All right. You want to say something?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you so much for this award, and it will go a long way in helping us achieve our mission. Thank you.
And now for the winner, startup that is blending hardware and software. We are so excited to present the top award to Disability Innovation Suites. Kenneth, you can come up as well. Mr. Geshohi, you can come up as well. Kenneth. It's Kenneth, right? Oh, Kenneth.
So I must have a few words. Thank you, everybody, judges. Thank you to my fellow presenters. I do not see them as competitors. Here's my philosophy. The more the merrier. There are days in this country when we wouldn't have had this kind of a forum to talk about these things. But the fact that people think we need to be investing in this sort of discussion and growing the things that we are doing is a win for everybody. Even if we hadn't won today, and I remember telling Amadi, the fact that people are listening to what we are saying makes me feel good. I've won. Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to Bernard has a couple of words that he'd like to say, and then we'll have Wilfred and wrap it up for us. Bernard, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mine is really short. First of all, congratulations to all the participants that came on stage and pitched. You are heroes for persons with disabilities. You are change makers, and you are going to change this country in a big way. Thank you also to our judges for a good job. Now, I want to make a special announcement because the question is then what next after this? So, Innovate now is an accelerator program, the first in Africa to accelerate assistive technology innovations to market. We are just launching our investment program, and it's basically a program to support assistive technology ventures to think about, a path to sustainability and investment. And everyone who has pitched on stage today, we will welcome them to try and help them look at what will it take for you to be investable. And we are doing this also in collaboration with our wonderful partners here, Villgro, Kenyan Innovation Agency, Kilimanjaro Blind Trust. Number two is that we are closing our call for application. We have a call for application that is live for our cohort 5. So, and the focus for this call is actually anyone who's trying to leverage on digital technology to scale their assistive products or to get assistive products to market. So everyone who has pitched here, the only way to scale up what you're doing is to think about technology to reach your customers and technology to take that product to market. So I'd encourage you to apply. You can go to atinnovatenow.com/apply. And we look forward to seeing how to further continue this wonderful partnership. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Bernard. And now we will close the event with a few remarks and a vote of thanks from the Villgro Africa CEO, Mr. Wilfred Njagi.
Thanks. Habari za jioni. How are you guys doing? How are the winners feeling? Yeah? Hope we can get some more tea after this. So first of all, before I give my vote of thanks, I would like to demystify one myth. Yeah? AT or assistive tech is not for the disabled. It's for all of us. How many here would like to live until age 90, 95? Hands up. Everyone. You know what that means, eh? As you grow into your 90s, chances are you're going to need a wheelchair, right? Your eyes, something could happen to your eyes. You might need a sixth sense, right? And even before you age, when you're just going through the normal care, maybe you've just come out of a surgery or something, you could need a Syna toilet, right, as you try to recuperate, especially if you're coming from the villages where they still use pit latrine. You just come out of a major operation, then you, for sure you'd order the Syna toilet, right? So this AT is for everyone, right? And it's not a favor we are doing to the differently abled. It's not. It's actually an opportunity to help them build with us, join us to build the economy. Then I'll tell you two things that differently abled people want from us and two things that they don't want, right? One thing that a differently abled person doesn't need from any of us is sympathy. So you can keep your sympathy because all they want is empowerment or empathy for that matter. The other thing that a different abled person doesn't need from you is charity, right? They don't need charity from any one of us. But they need two things. They need dignified life, where they feel they belong. Number two, they need empowerment, economic empowerment. I speak from a family where we have had one or two different abled people, right? One of them is actually a sad story because my grandmother is from Uganda, so half of my family is Ugandan. And in 1975, a sad history where Idi Amin decided that let's get rid of all the differently abled, dump them in a river. One of my relatives just survived by an inch. He was rescued. Today as we speak, he's one of my greatest mentors. He's paid school fees for me, he supported me. And just because there was assistive tech to help him continue with schooling. Yeah, so he's now a great man in the society. I also have another friend of mine, is a father to a best friend of mine. This guy, he just fell from a tree, right? Mango tree, it was mango season, broke his backbone, was bound to a wheelchair. As we speak today, he's the biggest farmer in our location. Just because with a wheelchair, he can be able to go tend to his cows, he can go downhill, go look at how the cultivation is going. And with today's innovations, some of these wheelchairs that can even do rugged terrain, I think you'll be more empowered, right? So what we are doing here is because we believe in inclusion, not leaving anyone behind, but having everyone come with us towards economic empowerment for everybody. And now to my vote of thanks. One is to thank the Villgro Africa team. I think they've worked tirelessly. I can see Christian smiling there just because the work has been good and it's ended on a high note. Let's appreciate them. The others is our partners, starting with Innovate now. Bernard, we really appreciate you. Even for the pipeline that came through, I'm told that 4 of them actually came from Innovate now. So huge potential there. And as an investor, I can tell you that we can see investable ideas from that pipeline. We are willing to join hands with you in the program that you're launching. Match resources, put resources together, increase the size of the pie, and let's get these things to market. And scale them across the world. The other one is Kenya for their wonderful support throughout this process. And last but not the least, the wonderful judges we had this evening. I think those ones deserve a much bigger applause. We know it's not easy getting time out of your busy schedule. We are not paying you for this, and just agreeing to come and be with us, we don't take it for granted. May God bless you, may God increase you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Even though we will not pay you, we would like to give you a small token of our appreciation. So if you can come up and get something small from us. And there's so many other people, everybody who has been a part of this. We thank you for coming, for supporting in any way that you did. We'd like to take some photos with the winners, the judges, and just have a nice group photo, and then we are free to go. Thank you very much.
How did you sign language when you start to use it? Aha!